Hey, Joel Evan here, host of the Hack Life podcast and holistic health coach. I want to talk to you today about my pure water. This is my distilled water maker. And listen, I know a lot of people have probably said, distilled water, Joel, why are you doing that? Distilled water has no minerals. And I'm going to actually just take that myth away from you. First of all, you don't get most of your minerals from water. Think about it. I mean, there's just not enough minerals for you in your water to get the daily amount of minerals you actually need. We get most of our minerals from food we eat, and specifically plants. So if you are looking to get your minerals, you need to eat real food, or there's even some good mineral supplements out there. Now, why did I switch to distilled water compared to reverse osmosis or any other type of water filtration? The bottom line is, when you look at reverse osmosis over time is going to fade. If you go to the Environmental Protection Agency's website, our EPA in the United States, they will tell you, go to their website, go to the homepage, and it'll tell you we are being bombarded by 86,000 man-made chemicals. So when you look at a reverse osmosis filter, how many chemicals do they tell you that they actually get out? Sometimes you'll see that it'll say, hey, we removed these top 9 chemicals, lead, mercury, cadmium. What about the other 85,990, right? Like, what about those? That's my problem. With distilled water, I know for a fact it's going to get everything out. Now, not all distilled water makers are going to get VOCs out. The neat thing about my pure water is it has a dual vent system that off-gasses the VOCs and removes that as well. So it's really cool. Also, a lot of the functional medicine practitioners in my cohort, what we're seeing across the board is that people are being affected not by just heavy metals such as lead, mercury, cadmium. Everybody knows about those. What about the radioactive elements? No one's talking about that. Radium, uranium, what's the other one? I can't even think. There's another one. Cesium, thank you, the other M. So no one's talking about those, and we're seeing that actually a lot of pesticides such as glyphosate, also known as Roundup, the weed killer, is it getting all those? Is reverse osmosis? I'm not too sure. And when I interviewed Dr. Stephanie Senev, we talked a lot about Roundup and how that pesticide was so prevalent in our world. And here's the thing. I don't know if any of those other water makers are distiller or reverse osmosis, if they're actually getting those things out. And we're seeing across the board, the functional medicine practice and the doctors that I work with, when we're muscle testing, a lot of times what's coming back to these toxins in people's bodies is the radioactive elements and the radioactive chemicals, and we're finding that across the board in water. So I just wanted to highlight that. The neat thing about my pure water and just in distillation overall and in general is that distillation does not wane over time, such as reverse osmosis. It's going to give you the same amount every time it does it. So that's why I'm a huge fan. This is an American-made company, which is also really cool to support companies that are built in the US. I think that's really neat. And this is what it looks like. You can see right now, unfortunately for the video, but I got the fan on, which means that here's the actual tank that I get the water out of. Now, the fan is on because it's going through the distillation process, and there's a reservoir right here you can't see, but this reservoir is holding all of the water, the distilled water. So you can see right here, it even says it. Now, this is in my garage. If I want, I can actually fill up here pretty fast, but this line actually runs in and it connects into my refrigerator. So you don't have to come out to the garage to get water, but if you want to fill up a massive amount really quickly, you can do that, or you can have your plumber actually fit it into either your, build in another socket inside the house. So that's an option too. So again, the distillation process is ongoing right now, which is why the fan is on. It automatically will kick on when the reservoir here gets too low. This is the Mega Classic. That is the heavy duty one, and I think everyone should get that if you have the space, because it also has a self-cleaning feature, which is just a little bit better. And for the price, the difference between the 3 models, this is the biggest and the best, I guess you could say, out of them all. But when you look at the price between the middle level and the higher, the Mega Classic, the Super Mega Classic, it's just better for the most bang for your buck, right? And so if you have the space, definitely I would invest in this one. And again, it holds, I believe, about 12 gallons of water. So once this gets a little bit too low, you see the distillation process starts. This is the reservoir tank. Up here is the boiling tank. I also have my water softener connected into it. It runs right into it. And then here is another carbon filter as well. This will remove all the chemicals and everything will come and lay here. You need to clean this. If you've got a water softener like I do, you're gonna have to clean this every 3 to 6 months, just depending. And then this bad boy, the carbon filter, needs to get removed every 3 to 6 months as well. And very simple stuff, guys. So you got a couple buttons here, which it's not even worth explaining, but distill, clean, and sterilize. And then on the side here, I've got all my connectors, and it's simply an on-off switch. But this is it. I've done my research. My Pure Water is my favorite one out of them all. If you go to their website, you can use the code JoelEvan in checkout, and you'll actually get a nice little discount for anyone that's ordering any of their distillers. The other thing I want to mention, if you're looking to learn more about water distillation, you want to learn more about this product, check out my interview I did on the Hacked Life podcast, which is on all major channels, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple. And you can check out that interview I did with the owners and makers of My Pure Water distillation systems. And you can learn more about some of the myths about distilled water, why I feel like distilled water is the cleanest and best water that you can get, even though, yes, you're removing all the minerals like we talked about. I really don't see that as a problem. What I see a problem is the pesticides and everything else that's infiltrating our system. And if we can for sure remove that and then add minerals back in, I think that's a way better solution than what reverse osmosis and a lot of the other filters offer. So here's my bet. Again, go to check out the Hack Life podcast to learn more.